ask you a few questions this morning. Have you found your golden key? Do you remember? I wanted to show you mine. This is my lanyard I wear to work, and I was able to find a golden key. It looks like this. It stays on my lanyard, and I grab it often to help me golden key my day. A few people showed me their golden keys. I know. I think Rachel had her golden key, and she just said, I have a golden key. And so find your golden key. It really will help you. It'll be a visual, concrete reminder of all that's good. Well, the Christ in me greets the Christ in you this morning. I'm really glad that you're here. I really believe in no coincidences, so I think that everything's in divine order this morning and that there is a great life-changing word for me and for you. I hope that today when we leave here, we're going to leave more awake than we were when we came in, more awake to our Christ mind. So, good morning, and thank you for being here in my experience today. I want to ask you, as I always do, to make a commitment first thing as we get started, and that commitment is to be with me right here in this moment. Let all other thoughts go away, all worries and fears and concerns, and just be here in this great moment, because I can guarantee you that as we are here as one, God will help us to become more like the Christ mind that we want. I do believe that this is a holy instance and we're on some holy ground today. So will you just do that kind of in your head and heart right now and just make a commitment to be here in this moment? It might be hard, but don't think about the Super Bowl yet, okay? I know it's Super Bowl Sunday and you might be having your mind on the I wouldn't say that. You might be having your mind on your favorite team, Patriots. So let's just let all that go for a while and be here in this moment. We practice the presence of God just by trying to see God everywhere, in all things, in all places, and in all people, despite whatever appearances that those people or places may have. In John 7:24, we hear Jesus trying to teach us to judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. So, when we can see the appearance of evil, we can look right through it, right? We can see what is back of it, the truth that's behind it. And when we can see with spiritual eyes, I can guarantee you that all things change. They really do. I'm going to mention something to you called the mental equivalent. Some of you said you've read about that. It's Emmett Fox, a phrase that he coined. And, you know, my only hope when I stand up here is to share with you some of the things that I'm learning. And hopefully know that you will grow and expand from those just like I have. I want to give a little pre-statement in that I want you to know that I have not mastered it all. So please understand that whatever I'm trying to teach you, that I am still working on too. As a matter of fact, my Uncle Greer, who was one of my sages, have you all got a sage, right? He passed on many years ago. I was still pretty young. But he was a minister, and he used to sit me on his lap and teach me how to look at people and what to think. And he said to me often, remember, every sermon that a minister speaks or every message that a minister brings should first be a message to that minister. So I want you to keep in mind that my messages are for me too, and that I have not yet mastered it all, but I try. Emmett Fox and many other spiritual leaders try to keep reminding us that life is all about contrast. And I'm trying to see good in everything, so I stopped calling things good or bad. Does that make sense? Instead, I try to welcome the contrast and try to understand that there are some things in my life that I want to experience and some things I do not want to experience. So let's talk about that for a minute. Emmett Fox says that the secret to successful living is to build that mental equivalent of things that you want and then get rid of the mental equivalent or mental thoughts of things that you do not want. He says that whatever comes into your life as an experience or a material expression is simply just a belief that you've held in your mind. You know what that means, don't you? That means that maybe you're responsible for some of the stuff going on. And maybe it's not everyone else. That's pretty powerful stuff, you have to admit. That's why I say we're kind of treading on some holy ground right now, because we're going to hit up against some things that are really going to point to you as a creator of some of your experiences, if not all of them. He says, and so do many others, that you've got to think of subjects, any subject that comes up, as really two subjects with two sides. So you may be asking yourself, okay, how do I know if what I want is right and true? As a matter of fact, many spiritual leaders have been asked that. How do I know what's true? How do I know what's right? I have one side telling me this, I have someone over here telling me this, so how do I make up my mind? Here's the answer. You can't ask anybody else. You do have to ask yourself, how does this thought, how does this truth feel to me? I've learned to trust my feelings every single time. My feelings are going to tell me if something feels like love or doesn't. And that's the gauge that I use. If it's love, I believe it's true. If it doesn't feel loving, I want to get rid of it. So he says this is the real key to life. If you change your mind, then your conditions must change with them. He not only says look at conditions, he says when you change your thinking to God thinking, your body will change, your daily work will change, your home will change, even the color of your whole life must change. I know you've heard through the scriptures that we are transformed by the renewing of our minds. Emmett says that your mental diet is really the most important thing in your whole life. He wrote a whole book about the mental diet. That would take hours to talk about. So we're not going to talk about the whole thing today. He says this may be called the whole cosmic law, the great law of the universe. And he says, I don't know of any thoughtful person who can deny its essential gift. The only problem, I think, is that our thoughts are so close to us that it's so hard and difficult to look at them objectively. But that's exactly what we want to try to do. We want to be an observer of what we're thinking, an observer of our own life, to take time for meditation, to sit back and to look at what am I doing in my life. How many of you take time each day? Be honest. We all love you. There's no judgment here. Who takes time to meditate every day? Good. Good. When I first started trying, I thought, well, I'll meditate. I don't have a lot of time, but I do drive around twice a day to go to work and come back at least. I'll meditate at stoplights. So when there was a stoplight, I closed my eyes. I thought, God, you are beautiful. My world is beautiful. But then I was totally interrupted by honk, honk. That didn't work for me because I went from a total time of bliss to angst, right? And then, as Wanda has taught me, I started waving at people as if they were my best friends. Oh, hi! Nice, yeah, thank you. But I found that wasn't a good time for me to meditate. So I tried meditating at night as I lay down in my bed, and I still recommend that. I worried about falling asleep, and I usually do. But I was at least going to sleep with thoughts of God in my head. But do take some time to look at your life and to look at what you're doing and thinking. Let's start out with a real life example here. Let's just say, and this is really a friend, it's not me, I promise, it's really a friend. Let's say that this friend, she says to me, I'm feeling resentment. This is as I'm just walking through the library. I'm really feeling resentment. I've got to talk to someone. So I say, sure, I've got a second. She says, did you get your evaluation? I said, yes, I did. She said, mine was mediocre. No, she says, it was less than that. I think I'm doing a good job here. And my boss just gave me proficient in all areas of my evaluation. She said, I know for a fact I'm exemplary in at least 3 or 4 of those. And then she went on to do what I call nursing and rehearsing, right? She nursed those bad thoughts. She gave them care. No, I'm not so bad. I know I do this. I know I do. And she rehearsed it over and over in her mind. So I said to her, let's just try an experiment. Let's take this situation and look at it from 2 sides. I said, let's look at the first side. What is it that you don't want? Here's what she said. This is paraphrased and not quoted. She said, I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to feel like my boss doesn't think I put forth enough effort. I don't want to feel like I'm not good enough to be working here, that I'm only proficient. I don't want to feel badly about myself as an employee. And then she kept going and she said, I'm really feeling bad about this. I don't even think I can finish working today. That's how badly I feel. So I said, thank you, God, here's my opportunity, right? Because I know that when you teach someone else something, you're reinforcing it for yourself. So I was grateful for this opportunity. I said, no, calm down. How would you feel without those kind of feelings? Let's look at the opposite of that. You know now what you don't want to feel, right? I heard you say it. You said, I don't want to feel unimportant. I don't want to feel like I'm not doing a good job. I don't want to feel bad anymore. That's what you don't want. So now it's this simple. Tell me what you do want. You see, as a scientist of sorts, I know that 2 things cannot hold the same space at the same time. She said, I don't want to feel unhappy. I don't want to feel like I'm not done. I said, no. You're still filling your mind with don'ts. I want you to tell me, what do you want? So finally we came to the place where she was saying, I want to feel good about myself. I want to feel good about my boss. I don't want to have bad feelings about him. I want to feel good about my work relationships. I want to feel good about the job I'm doing. Then I said, then you simply have to choose those thoughts instead of the others. Regardless of what's going on around you, regardless of what it says on this piece of paper, you got to change your thinking. You really do. Remember, be careful though. You don't want to replace thoughts of what you don't want. You don't want to go around saying things like, I'm not being mad. I did that this morning. A little incident happened, and I'm standing in the hallway, and I'm thinking, I don't want to be mad. I don't want to be feeling upset. But then I reminded myself that I'm nursing and rehearsing the bad thoughts. So what kind of feelings still surround this kind of thinking? Here's another example. Play around with me, if you will. If I say to you, all right, I want you to not think about the Statue of Liberty. I'm pretty sure that most of you just saw the Statue of Liberty. That's how it is with your other thoughts, too. You don't want to say negative things to yourself and then think you're not thinking of them. See, the law of the mind is that you can only get rid of one thought when you substitute it with another. So for everything in life, there has to be a mental equivalent, Emmett Fox says. Find something equal to that thought that is positive. Now I'm going to take a risk here. And I prayed about this last night. So I put a little star by it in my notes. Is there anyone here who would be willing to be a guinea pig today and share a problem with us? And we're going to help you flip that thought together. There's nothing like a real life experience. So no one has a problem. No one wants. Thank you. No, it doesn't have to be you.
I got your back, baby.
All right, come and sit by Jane.
Oh, if I knew I got to sit by Jane, everybody would have volunteered, wouldn't you?
Now, it doesn't have to be something really personal.
Okay.
Save that for the comedy show, right?
Yeah.
Just tell us about a problem. It could be a work problem, a home. Don't tell about the home problem. How about a work problem, or a friend problem, a family problem?
My wife is great. I got you, baby. No, turn the mic around so we can hear it.
Yeah, I'll repeat things that she says. Oh, I'm not sure I want you to talk in a mic.
Oh, honey. Okay.
But you were the only brave one who volunteered. Here.
Okay. So
Now sit back down.
I can sit
This
down.
is a sit down talk.
I
Okay.
like to sit down.
See, I can keep proximity control. Okay. Tell me just a real life example.
Well, okay. I get to train someone at work to move up over me. So I'm a little bit out of shape. I'm given the title of lead technician at work just so I can train this guy to move up over me.
Okay.
Even though Steve and I got the same number on our evaluation.
So how do you feel about that? How do you feel? What's your feelings?
Oh, you're going to make me say pissed at church.
No. Save the comedy for later. How do you feel about it?
I feel kind of used, like, because I'm training him to move up over me and take a position that I wanted that I can't get because I got a felony 25 years ago.
So you feel
Bitter. Kind of angry.
Anything else?
I feel kind of let down because nobody really wanted to help me get past what was holding me back.
Okay.
So I feel kind of let down by my
Okay.
folks at work.
So here's the great thing about it. Emmett Fox says, now you know what you don't want. Do you want to feel bitter? Say no.
Say no. No, I don't.
Do you want to feel angry?
No.
No. Most of us don't want to feel those kind of things, right? Maybe you do for a moment, but let it go, right? So you don't want to feel that way a long time. So now that you know what you don't want, let's turn that around. What do you want to feel in this situation?
Well, I want to get back to the point where, because I love my job. I love what I do. And I want to get back to the point where I know that no matter what, even if we were given the same evaluation, I want to get back to the point that no matter what it says there, I still know that what I do matters.
Yeah, so you do want to keep in mind that what you do makes a difference.
Yes.
What else do you know that you want now because of what you don't want?
I want to get that stupid felony off my record so I can go.
So you want to make changes to stop the blocking of all moving up.
Yeah.
Anything else that now you know you want?
Well, this is going to sound kind of arrogant, and I don't mean for it to. I want to help Steve get to the point where we should be the same.
That's not arrogant. That's okay.
Because he's not.
So here's the good news. Here's the good news. Right? You have all the inherent qualities of God. So you can tell yourself and be sure about it that because I love my work, what I do matters. So you can feel happy in that, right?
Mm.
Then you have to put that thought in your mind. And regardless of what anyone else has said, I want to help you help this guy move up to be better than you. You have to say, that is a great compliment to me. Can you do that?
I really don't know.
That's okay. Can you try?
I can try.
That's all that God wants you to do, is to try. So you see, if she takes this idea of, I'm feeling bad, I'm feeling angry, I don't like my boss now, he's having me do something for someone else that's going to make that person earn more money than me. We get touched when it comes to money, do we not? Yes?
Yeah.
So you have to tell yourself about the mental equivalent. Now I know what I don't want. Thank you, God, for that experience. I can now be sure and clear about what I do want and move towards that. Thanks for being an example.
Can it be Nancy's turn?
I appreciate it. Is there anybody else who would like to try it in front of everybody? Thank you. Come and try it. Come and sit beside of Jan. I did take a risk because I had the opportunity for no one to say, no, I'm not going, right? No one would want to help. But thanks for letting us into your life just a little bit.
Okay, what I don't want is
Wait, tell us your situation first.
it's a work situation with division executives that make decisions and behave in a certain way that I don't agree with. And the situation is when I see or hear this man, which is our division executive, come into my branch and, put on a show, and I see it as a show because what he says you can't hear because of what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be able to see past the lie and see the truth for him. And I can't.
So then let's be really clear about it. What is it you don't want anymore from that situation?
I don't want the bad feelings, the negative feelings of seeing him as a wolf in sheep's clothing.
What I notice is that people keep talking about their feelings. Do you notice that? Hardly ever do people say, I want to be completely away from this situation. I don't like this building. Most of the time people are saying, I don't like this feeling I'm having. Because that's your God indicator that you're not on your right path, that you're not vibrating with your God mind. So that's great. Now you know what you don't want. Then you have to replace that thought with what you do want. So can you say it in an affirmative statement? What I want is...
It's hard. It really is hard. Because I want to be honest.
True.
I want to be
right.
honest.
Sure.
I want to see the Christ in him.
You want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
The good news is that you can. That's what's so awesome about it. When you say, I want to be able to see the Christ in him, I want to see and feel trust with him.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see and feel that he is going to do the good for us all. He's an executive. He has charge over us. That's a big responsibility for him. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to know his worries? Do you want to know why he's doing what he's doing?
I would like to be enlightened a little bit.
For yourself, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter why he's doing it. If you don't feel that it's true, you want to feel truth about it, right? So then your mental equivalent would be, and I love the way you said that, I want to see the Christ in him, not the wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Those are her words. I didn't say wolf.
Right.
I want to see the Christ in him. Now, you know that's going to take practice, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know that if you look him in the eyes and say to him, I know you're trying to do your best, he will try to do his best. He will, even though he will. I trust that he will. It's hard to do. Thanks, Wanda, for sharing that part. It's hard to do.
Very hard.
But is it worth it?
Yeah.
The important thing is just to put the I don't want out of my mind and only hold the I do want in your mind. If you can do that, your life will change.
Because I know that negative stops me. It blocks me off from everything.
Right. And you want to be who you are regardless of who he thinks he is. Because we know who he is, right?
Yeah.
We know that he is the individualized expression of God.
Man, I was going to say the wolf. No.
And and we know in our heart of hearts, we know that he is also part of God.
He is.
And we know that he is not on his right path because we're not feeling truth from him, right?
Right.
And we know that we don't judge other people's journey, right? That we only judge our own journey. Okay?
Yep.
Yes, please.
In those kind of situations, I do what's called throw pink blankets of love over them. Because sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it. So just by having that visual, just wrap on that person, just pink blankets of love on that person.
The important thing...
He needs it, because otherwise he wouldn't be acting like a wolf.
Right. The important thing is that you know that you have control over your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes us happy in God, right?
Right.
So that's the hard part, is to do it without judgment, right?
Right.
Right, Wanda? Without judgment. And that's really hard. I just said that because she was the other example. Nancy's laughing. Thank you so much. I'll have to hug Wanda later. Thanks for taking a risk with me.
Absolutely.
You see, it is hard. No one ever said it was going to be easy, but I think it's worth it. Now what happens is I don't always have to think so long and hard about it. And if you have a friend who can be your sage, they can say to you, oh, that's what you don't want. Think about what you do want. I'm very fortunate that I have someone at school. She doesn't like it because I tell her I talk about her in church all the time. But when I'm feeling angst about a kid, I included in my grateful meditation that I'm grateful for the love of little children, right? I left out the part about their behavior. But when it happens sometimes that the behavior is out of control in my mind, right? I will say things like, I'm having the worst day. All I've done is do crowd control. I didn't get to teach that great math lesson because I was so busy trying to get children to love each other. Oh my gosh, what a day. I'm so glad this is over. And my friend puts her arm around me and she holds my golden key up and she says, now you know what you don't want. Now you know that you don't want doing crowd control all day. Now you know that you don't want have to spend your whole day teaching children to not call each other names. Now you know what you do want. You want to teach math. You like teaching math. You like teaching reading and literature. That's what you do want. So I make myself a solemn promise. Tomorrow when I go to work, I'm going to keep in mind what I do want. And my gracious, loving God helps me realize and experience what I do want. It's changing my life. I just hope it's going to change yours. It helps when you can remember who you really are. And in case you haven't thought about it, I'm going to remind you. You are one with God. You are the individualized expression of God. You have the nature of God, which is, and if you'll repeat each one after me, I think it's that important. You are love, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, power of spirit, life, and the ultimate joy. So no matter what the circumstances are around you, that's who you are. We remind each other about that all the time when we stand here or sit here in this place. Okay. Now we know what we don't want. We don't want anything that is opposite to those things we just said. Now you can define with clarity what you do want. God is the source. You're one source. So think nothing but God thoughts. God is your environment. No other presence. God love is your nature, so acknowledge no opposite in yourself. Say to yourself every day, in God I am complete. I want to thank you for being here with me today, joining me in this holy now, for expressing and holding our thoughts captive together for just this little bit of time in obedience to our Christ mind. And I say this not lightly. I love you.